Your blood work came back normal. Your doctor smiled, said everything looks fine, and sent you home. And you felt relieved for about a day. Then the fatigue came back, the brain fog, the sluggishness that no amount of sleep seems to fix. Here's the truth nobody is telling you. Small decisions about which health markers you track or don't track compound in ways most people never notice until it's too late. That normal label on your lab report, it's not a green light, it's a trap. Because normal is calculated from the average of a population where 60% of adults are overweight, 1 in 3 are pre-diabetic, and chronic disease is the baseline. You are being compared to sick people and told you're healthy. Today, I'm going to show you exactly which 5 markers your doctor is almost certainly not measuring, and why that gap between normal and optimal might be silently destroying your energy, your focus, and your years. Stay with me, because the last one shocked me the most. Let's put real numbers on this. The standard reference range for most blood markers was established decades ago using data from hospital patients, people who were already sick enough to seek medical care. A 2020 analysis published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that standard lab reference ranges have not been meaningfully updated in over 30 years for the majority of common panels. 30 years. Think about what we've learned about nutrition, chronic inflammation, and metabolic health in that time. And yet, your doctor is still handing you a piece of paper with numbers benchmarked against 1990s data from a chronically unwell population. This is not your doctor's fault. They are working within a system built around disease management, not optimization. But here's what that means for you. You could be functioning at 60% of your actual potential and be told you are perfectly fine. Your quality of life, your energy, your mood, your sharpness, your longevity is being measured against the wrong standard, and that should make you furious. Point 1. Magnesium. Your doctor almost certainly did not test it, and if they did, they tested the wrong thing. Standard panels measure serum magnesium, the magnesium floating in your blood, but only about 1% of your body's total magnesium lives in your blood. The other 99% is inside your cells and bones, so your serum number can look perfectly normal while your cells are starving. A 2018 study in the journal Nutrients estimated that up to 45% of Americans are functionally magnesium deficient. Magnesium is involved in over 300 enzymatic reactions in your body, everything from energy production to sleep regulation to blood sugar control. If you are waking up tired, cramping at night, feeling anxious for no clear reason, or hitting an afternoon wall every single day, low intracellular magnesium is one of the most underdiagnosed reasons why. The test you actually want is called a red blood cell magnesium test, or RBC magnesium. Write that down. Ask for it by name. Point 2. Vitamin D. Now you might be thinking, my doctor does test vitamin D. Great. Here is the problem. Most labs flag a deficiency only when your 25-hydroxy vitamin D level drops below 20 nanograms per milliliter. The Endocrine Society defines sufficiency starting at 30. But a growing body of research, including a landmark 2014 meta-analysis in the BMJ covering over 300,000 participants, links optimal immune function, cardiovascular health, and mood regulation to levels between 50 and 80 nanograms per milliliter. You could be sitting at 32, technically sufficient, and be told you are fine, while your immune system is operating on reserve power, your mood regulation is compromised, and your cancer risk reduction benefits from vitamin D haven't even begun to activate. The difference between not deficient and optimal is enormous, and almost nobody is having that conversation with their patient. Are you one of them? Point 3. This one does not even appear on most standard panels at all. The omega-3 index measures the percentage of EPA and DHA, the 2 most critical omega-3 fatty acids, in your red blood cell membranes. It is considered by researchers like Dr. William Harris at the Fatty Acid Research Institute to be one of the most powerful independent predictors of cardiovascular mortality. A 2018 study in the Journal of Clinical Lipidology found that people with an omega-3 index below 4% had more than double the cardiovascular risk compared to those above 8%. The average American sits around 4 to 5%. Optimal is considered 8% or higher. Your cholesterol could look textbook perfect while your omega-3 index silently flags catastrophic cardiovascular risk, and your doctor never ordered the test. This is not obscure fringe science. Dr. Harris has published over 300 peer-reviewed papers on this single marker. It costs around $50 out of pocket. And it could tell you more about your heart health than your LDL number ever will. Point 4. Fasting insulin. Standard panels check your fasting glucose. Some check HbA1c. But here is what most people do not know. Insulin resistance, the underlying driver of type 2 diabetes, metabolic syndrome, and significant cardiovascular risk, can develop silently for 10 to 15 years before your glucose or HbA1c ever moves out of the normal range. Insulin compensates. It works harder and harder to keep your blood sugar looking fine on paper, while your cells are becoming increasingly resistant. By the time your glucose number flags, the damage has often been building for over a decade. Fasting insulin tells you what is happening upstream. Optimal fasting insulin is generally considered to be below 5 micro-IU per milliliter. Many labs don't flag anything until 25 or higher. If you are between 5 and 25 and your doctor said nothing, you may be years into a metabolic trajectory that is entirely reversible, but only if you catch it now. This single test, costing under $30, could give you a 10-year head start on the most common chronic disease pathway in America. Point 5, and this is the one that I said would shock you. High-sensitivity C-reactive protein, HSCRP. Standard CRP tests are designed to catch acute inflammation, an infection, an injury, something obvious. High-sensitivity CRP is a completely different test designed to detect low-grade chronic inflammation, the kind that smolders for years without obvious symptoms and is now understood to be the common root mechanism behind heart disease, Alzheimer's, certain cancers, depression, and accelerated aging. Research from Harvard Medical School, including work by Dr. Paul Reidker published in the New England Journal of Medicine, demonstrated that HSCRP predicted future heart attack risk better than LDL cholesterol in a landmark study of nearly 28,000 women. Optimal HSCRP is below 1 milligram per liter. High risk is above 3. The test is cheap, widely available, and most doctors do not order it unless you are already symptomatic. You could be burning from the inside for years and have no idea. And you will not know until you ask. So here is what connects all 5 of these markers: magnesium, vitamin D, omega-3 index, fasting insulin, HSCRP. Every single one of them is affordable to test. Every single one has a robust body of peer-reviewed research behind it. And every single one is routinely left off your standard panel. Not because your doctor is negligent, but because the standard of care was never built around optimization. It was built around not being acutely sick. And there is a profound difference between those two things. The people who feel extraordinary at 50, 60, 70, who have energy, clarity, and resilience, they are not lucky. They are informed. They ask different questions. They tracked different numbers. They did not wait for symptoms to appear before they paid attention. You now have 5 specific questions you can bring to your next appointment. Write them on a piece of paper. Hand them to your doctor. If they push back, find a functional medicine or integrative health physician who runs comprehensive panels as a baseline. This is your health. You are allowed to demand more than a passing grade on a test designed for average. Now let's talk about what you can do starting today, before you even get new labs drawn. Because even while you are waiting on test results, the most common nutritional gaps these markers reveal have very well-established solutions. Magnesium glycinate or magnesium malate, not oxide, which is poorly absorbed, is the most commonly recommended form for intracellular replenishment. Vitamin D3 paired with K2 is critical because D3 without K2 can drive calcium into the wrong places. For omega-3s, you want a high-quality fish oil with both EPA and DHA in a ratio that has been third-party tested for heavy metals and oxidation, because a rancid fish oil supplement is worse than no supplement. These are not random wellness trends. These are targeted nutritional interventions for the exact gaps that standard panels miss. In the description below, I have linked to a curated stack that I have personally researched, tested for purity, dosed appropriately, and sourced from brands with third-party certification. This is the starting point for addressing the most common gaps while you work on getting the full picture from proper testing. The link is below. Take 10 seconds and check it out. Here is where we land. You came in today thinking your blood work tells the full story. I hope you are leaving knowing it tells barely a fraction of it. The 5 markers we covered, magnesium RBC, vitamin D optimal range, omega-3 index, fasting insulin, and HSCRP, are not fringe ideas. They are documented, peer-reviewed, and clinically actionable, and they are almost certainly not on your last lab report. The gap between normal and optimal is real. It has a cost, and you now know exactly where to start closing it. If this video opened your eyes to something your doctor has not told you, share it with someone you care about, because most people will never know what they do not know. Hit subscribe if you want to keep getting the information the mainstream health conversation keeps leaving out. And drop in the comments, which of these 5 markers surprised you the most? I read every single one. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only. Nothing constitutes medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional.